It's especially appropriate to welcome in the president of airsafe.com, Todd Curtis. Todd, thanks for Skyping in from the Bay State of Massachusetts today. So, we just heard from the retiring administrator. Will security be beefed up? How much extra security do you expect the TSA to implement over the holidays?
Well, during a normal holiday season, the TSA does have special emphasis on especially educating passengers on how to get through the security lines more quickly, given that people are bringing presents and special foods and whatnot. But this year, there are some particularly late breaking things that may be concerning to the TSA and the average passenger. I guess everyone's heard about what's happened with the whole Sony hack and the threats from North Korea, apparently from North Korea. And the recent events in Pakistan and Australia shows you that both organized groups and lone individuals can and will, at any moment, in any venue, do something that could be hazardous to people traveling.
So there's been some talk, basically some are suggesting that we should avoid bringing on carry-on baggage. How is that possible during the holiday season? Or they might go as far as forbidding us to actually bring on electronic devices, or if we do, we have to stow them away. Are these realistic possibilities?
They're realistic possibilities only if there is a credible threat with very good intelligence that a specific kind of activity, specific kind of attack may be planned or even underway using carry-on luggage or using electronics. That said, the creativity of those who wish to do harm exceeds almost, but not quite, the creativity of those who are protecting us. So if they want to use, they meaning whichever individual or group is out there meaning us harm, if they want to use an electronic device or a stuffed animal or a carry-on bag, they can. But I would say taking those steps would only make sense if there was some very, very good intelligence that something was happening right now.
Todd, we see in the airports pre-screening. It can expedite travel, the time for a lot of people, but is there a concern it could lead to less security? And is it always tied economically? If you have a class ticket or an upgrade, you usually end up with pre-screening?
Well, it depends on the airline and the airport. Typically, you are either through expedited screening if you're part of the Trusted Traveler programs and the global entry programs that the U.S. government has, which allows you to go into shorter lines and skip taking off your shoes and such going through security. And also, there are some premium seats where if you buy them, that airline may give you a pass that goes past part of security. That said, any system that you have that grants special privileges to some passengers can be abused by some. Fortunately, the cases of abuse I've seen haven't been ones where the people have been meaning harm. But still, anytime there's a program like this, those who are running it have to be careful that it's not going to be taken advantage of by some bad actors.
Well, Todd, we have so many questions for you, and as we're looking at the video of people in lines and getting checked on what I call in common parlance the naked machines, where they're looking through that kind of stuff. When we come back, I'm interested in just air traffic in general. Apparently some new devices are crowding the skies, and no, it's not Santa with his reindeer. The whole topic of drones, what they mean to commercial aviation, what it means this time of year. We'll talk about that with Todd Curtis when we continue here on America's Forum. Our guest, Todd Curtis, earlier on Al Jazeera America, talking about drones. Todd, we thank you for staying with us to continue the conversation there from Newton, Massachusetts. We just heard you mention potential safety issues of civilians flying these drones into airspace used by the jetliners. We want to point out, you also said that most drone owners fly responsibly. But who's checking up on these guys to make sure their flight habits of these drones remain responsible?
Well, one of the issues here is that the drones that are in existence right now, you can actually have them up to 55 pounds and fly them legally. That is, you can have a homemade or a custom-made drone that's relatively heavy that can fly at relatively high altitudes. Now, this is dangerous because jet airliners, as they're configured, are designed to withstand the impact, let's say, of a bird up to 4 pounds. They're not designed to withstand something up to 55 pounds. So unfortunately, if one of the currently available and legal drones are flown high enough, it could really take out an airliner.
So, are there any laws governing civilians using drones?
There are quite a few laws in place. In fact, currently, as the laws are applied, you're not allowed to fly them within about 5 miles of an airport. You're not allowed to fly them inside of controlled airspace at all. Unfortunately, in the last 4 or 5 years, especially in the last year or two, there have been on the market numerous commercially available drones that you can order on Amazon that have the ability to fly at several thousand feet. So you could have a situation where you can get something basically off the shelf, fly it up at several thousand feet, fly it in an area near an airport that could threaten airliners. Now, the FAA is trying desperately to put some regulations in place to have some control over this. But unfortunately, the technology has gotten so advanced, you can have hobbyists that could literally order the parts, even take these 3D printers and make some of the parts and build these themselves. So even if the FAA tomorrow banned all drones from being sold commercially, they can be made privately.
Well, this is sobering information for those of us getting ready to get on the plane. So, Todd, we got to depend on you. Where do
Well,
you
I'm
rank?
glad to hear it.
Well, you're the guy who studies this, and we just need to know, as we're listing things to worry about or concerns we have about holiday travel, where do drones rank on that list?
Well, fortunately, they rank very low because, in a sense, I'm taking some of the words of the departing TSA head, Mr. Pistole, that the risk is what they're trying to control. That is, the risk of someone doing something bad to the air transportation system. That risk has two parts: the likelihood of some bad event happening and an underlying hazard. Well, clearly, drones are an underlying hazard. They only become something that's a risk if there's a high likelihood that someone's going to fly one deliberately or accidentally into the path of an airliner. Fortunately, in spite of all the events that have happened, there have been no reports of accidental collisions between large drones and aircraft.
Do you think that
One
has to
could
do with
only
the
hope.
expense?
It has in the past. It has in the past, but I'm telling you from looking at Amazon, for $1,000, you can easily buy a drone that can fly right into an airliner's path and could possibly seriously damage that.
And we remember the report on 60 Minutes that Amazon wanted to go to drone delivery in the years ahead. Since that has kind of gone away. Todd Curtis, we always appreciate the fact that you deliver the news to us in terms of security at the airport and what to do just in the whole realm of aviation security. As someone who's about to hop on a plane for Christmas,
Comforting,
I'm
right?
taking your suggestions to heart. So, Todd, thank you very, very much.
Again, hope to do this again soon.
We'll do it. Merry Christmas to you. Happy New Year. And hopefully it's a happy flight for me this
Yeah,
weekend.
watch out for those drones.
Don't fly off. There's more to come here on America's Forum.